Good morning, students. In our last class, we had started the chapter Our Environment and had discussed the biotic components of the environment. Now, before going forward, I want to ask you a question. And the question is, what are the decomposers? Are those organisms who can decompose, no? Who can decompose the matters. Decompose, or you can say break down. No, break down the matters. Now, one more question. Do the decomposers decompose all the substances? Or do they break down everything into simpler form? Well, no, isn't it? They don't decompose everything. They can't break down everything into simpler form. Okay, for understanding this in better way, let us discuss an activity. For this activity, we have to take three things. First, we have to take paper. As you can see in the picture, some papers we have to take. Secondly, we have to take cloth. And third thing we have to take is plastic. Now we have to bury all these three things in soil, and then after 1 month we have to check them. After 1 month we will find that these two things, that the paper and the cloth, they change their form. As you can see here in the diagram, the paper and the cloths, their forms have been changed, but plastic, it does not change. So here these two things, the paper and the cloth, they are known as the biodegradable substances. We should say substances. And this plastic, these type of substances are known as non-biodegradable substances. These and if we leave these papers and cloths for few more months buried in the soil, we won't find them anymore. What happens actually, these things, they are dissolved by the action of microorganisms, and ultimately they become the part of soil, and so they are no threat to the environment. And these non-biodegradable substances, they are a great threat to the environment. So let us discuss one by one. So how can we define the biodegradable substances? See, biodegradable substances are those substances which can be broken down into simpler substances by decomposers or microorganisms. And the best examples are the kitchen wastes. As you can see in the diagram, kitchen wastes are there, fruits and vegetables are there, fruits, vegetables, leftover food, all these things. And there are some more examples like paper, cloth, eggshell, etc. And how can we define non-biodegradable substances? So, non-biodegradable substances are those substances which cannot be broken down into simpler form by microorganisms. Examples are the plastic, this, these cans, then glass, battery. They are the examples of non-biodegradable substances. And this plastic, it is the biggest threat to the environment. These plastics, they take hundreds of years. They take hundreds of years to break down. And when they start breaking down, they release toxic chemicals. These toxic chemicals, they mix with the soil. They go to the soil, as well as they also mix with the air. And through the soil, they also get mixed with the water. So at the same time, these plastics, these toxic chemicals, they cause all these three types of pollutions: air pollution, soil pollution, and water pollution. Here in the diagram also you can see these plastics, they release toxic chemicals, and these chemicals, they get mixed with the air, they also get mixed with the soil, and through the soil they mix with the water and cause air, water, and soil pollution. Now, how should we dispose these two things? Biodegradable substances and non-biodegradable substances. The best way to dispose these two types of substances is to follow twin bin system. In twin bin system, there are two bins, one of green color as you can see in the picture, one of green color and the other is of blue color. In blue color bin, dry recyclable wastes are kept like bottles, papers, etc. Glass also can be put. And this green bin, fruits and vegetables. That means the biodegradable substances are put. Then after separation of these biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances, what should be done? So first of all, if we talk about the biodegradable substances, these substances, they should be buried in the soil. And when these substances are buried in the soil, they change into compost. And this compost, it is very good for the growth of plants. In the diagram also you can see here the kitchen wastes, biodegradable substances, they are being mixed with the soil. And here in the next diagram you can see the compost is ready, and this compost is very good for the growth of plants. And this process of making compost, it can be speeded up by adding earthworms with the soil. In the picture you can see earthworms have been mixed with the soil, and when kitchen wastes are buried in such soil, the process of making compost, it takes place very fast. And this process of making compost with the help of earthworm is known as vermicomposting. And this type of compost is known as vermicompost. So how can we define vermicomposting? The process of making compost with the help of redworms is known as vermicomposting. Now, if we talk about the disposal of non-biodegradable wastes, how can we dispose them? How should we dispose them? So the best way is to follow the rule of principle of 3 R's. How many R's? 3 R's. First R stands for reduce, second R for reuse, and third R it stands for recycle. Let us discuss one by one. So how can we reduce? How can we reduce the use of non-biodegradable substances? Well, by using fountain pen in place of ballpoint pen, by using old newspapers for packaging, by using paper or cloth bag in place of plastic bag, and there are many more ways in which we can reduce the use of non-biodegradable substances. Now, second R, it stands for reuse. The reuse means to use again. What are the substances which we can use again? So the substances like bottles, jars, paper envelope, rechargeable batteries, and many more are there which can be used again. So in this way we can reuse them. And the third R, it stands for recycle. We can recycle the waste substances for making the new ones. For example, these waste bottles, they can be made into new plastic bottles. Waste paper, they can be made into fresh paper. Same way, waste metal scrap, they can be made into new metal utensils by sending to the appropriate place. Here you see in the diagram, here an old bottle is there. So these plastic wastes, they can be sent to plastic factory from where new plastic bottles are made. Here you see waste papers are there. They can be sent to paper factories where fresh papers are made. In the same way, waste metal scrap can be sent to metal factories where new metal utensils are made. In the same way, we can send these glass Now, waste glass objects, waste glass, they can be sent to glass factories where new glass objects can be made. So in this way, waste non-biodegradable substances, they can be recycled into new ones, fresh ones. So this was all about the biodegradable and non-biodegradable substances. Now note down your today's homework. So question number 1 is differentiate between the biodegradable substances and the non-biodegradable substances. I repeat, differentiate between biodegradable substances and non-biodegradable substances. Question number 2. Make a list of the biodegradable substances and non-biodegradable substances you see in your house. Thank you.